Hey everyone, welcome to All Time Highs. My name is Mike. Today is January 24th, and it's actually quite an interesting day because in the crypto market, there was a released rating system for the cryptocurrency market. So usually what happens is Weiss would rate other financial assets such as companies. However, they've applied this to cryptocurrencies, and if you look at CNBC or other news sources, you'll be able to find from their website. However, they put their full list behind a paywall because they want to earn money somehow, and because they don't take donations or anything that they say anyways. They don't really make money by making this. However, let's go through and talk about some of the ratings. So a lot of this you will tend to disagree with, and that's fine too, but some of the results are pretty interesting. So we'll just cover some of the big ones and I'll skip through. So ARK is fairly large, and they've given it a C plus rating, which is about the same as Bitcoin, which is here. And they've also given it the same as BitShares, Byteballs, Dash, Decred, and some others. So we'll just cover the first page here, but so the reason they gave Bitcoin a C plus is because they said that the transaction fees and the speed was decreased. However, the adoption was really high, and that I personally agree with. And I think a C plus is honestly a fair grade. And so here is the paint chart. So anything that's given a C it means it's okay. So don't panic sell or anything. For B and above, their grading means there is still potential to be made. So money-wise, as an investment, you can still make money on ETH, Cardano, Neo, Steam, and EOS. So I don't necessarily disagree with these choices. However, when you're placing something that doesn't have a platform yet, for example, well, I'm actually directly talking about ADA here. Oops. So ADA does not have a platform like Neo or Ethereum. So putting this in the same group essentially as those, I think, was incorrect. Just because the market cap is high doesn't mean there's adoption. There's no ICOs currently being launched on Cardano, whereas Neo and Ethereum are really the ones where ICOs are kind of grown and generated. As well, Steam is doing fairly well because I think their platform is good. It's similar to Reddit, but you can upvote using Steam coins. So you can pay essentially the person who posted or certain comments if you think it's worth upvoting. So you can do that with money. So similar to how you can pay Bitcoin. How you can buy people Reddit gold on Reddit, you can do the same thing on Steam. However, it's just dollar amounts, which I think is pretty cool. They've given ARK, Bitcoin, BitShares, and some of these other large ones a decent rating of C plus. So none of these really strike me as something I disagree with intently. So we'll just move on to C's. And so I'm not going to cover most of the small ones. We'll just go through the top 10. So Monero is here. Navcoin, which I hold a little bit myself, is here. Let's see. XRP, they've given it C. And they've given... what else is here? So that's pretty much in the top 10. Oh, XLM, a C as well. Honestly, I would disagree with XLM being in the same category as Verge, right? So Verge is supposed to be a private C coin, and I've never used Verge myself, but I've heard a lot of things on both sides. So John McAfee was promoting it, and a lot of people were disagreeing, saying how it's not really a private C coin. I don't know too much about it. I don't want to get into it, but I don't think having Monero, which is like a long-standing private C coin, with something that's really new in the same column, I don't think that makes a lot of sense, especially since Doge is a C. The adoption for Doge, I mean, the blockchain hasn't had an update in 2 years, and really the only thing you can use Doge for, other than those really weird like exchanges like Cryptopia or whatever, you can tip with it on Reddit, so it's not really used, right? And then in the C minus, we have Bitcoin Cash, which frankly I'm really surprised that it's here, because it has lower fees than Bitcoin, and it's actually used quite a bit on Reddit. So there's a bot called u/tipper, and a lot of people use that over the Dogecoin tipping bot. So I see it frequently, and I'm pretty sure it's being worked on, and there's not a lot of fees. So I think the adoption for Bitcoin Cash is pretty good. I wouldn't say it's better than Bitcoin, because most people, they don't know really what Bitcoin Cash is, and if you just mention Bitcoin, they won't think, oh yeah, there's multiple Bitcoins. They'll just think, well, there's one Bitcoin and it's like 11 grand. So I don't know if Bitcoin Cash deserves, even though I'm not a pro Bitcoin Cash kind of person, I still don't think it deserves a lower score than Bitcoin itself. So some of the other ones that are here are Zencash, as well as Redcoin. And then we'll move on to the ones that they believe are bad coins, which are Bitcoin Gold. Sorry for this being blurry. I found this off Reddit because someone, sorry, not off Reddit, off Twitter, because Weiss decided to put a paywall behind their PDF. However, initially they released it, so a lot of people screenshotted it and were able to share it just in time. So Bitcoin Gold, a D+, I agree. I think other coins that should fall in this category include Doge, because there's no functionality. There's not a lot of active users of Doge. And by users, I don't mean people who just have Doge. I mean people who try and develop the network. Like I said, they haven't had a blockchain update in the past 2 years. Even the CEO is warning people, that, not the CEO, but the person who initially started Doge as a meme coin, even he's warning against it, because at the point it broke $2 billion, he was saying, this is ridiculous. There's nothing really that Doge does. It's just essentially a Bitcoin ripoff. And anyways, I think this should belong in that category as well. There's not a lot I fully disagree with. However, I don't think, given that they don't understand all the coins. So here's what I mean. This rating system, I think, is a good idea. However, it's not concrete. And especially because crypto is such a new environment, I wouldn't just say, okay, well, this is the rating you're giving me, I have to buy, hold, or sell. So these ratings, although I think are fairly, I don't know if accurate is the right word. I think it's in the correct ballpark, but obviously there are some that seem like genuine mistakes. For example, Cardano is way too early to be given a B-, right? So this could be given perhaps a C+ or a C. Dash, I think C+ is okay. Bitcoin, I kind of agree with because of the fees. Bitcoin Cash, honestly, are they evaluating based on the battle, the feud between Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash? Because as a transactional currency, Bitcoin Cash is much better. So there's not really much of an argument behind this. So until Lightning solves all of those issues, which currently it hasn't because there's not a lot of adoption for Lightning, I think Bitcoin Cash is still, functionality-wise, is better than Bitcoin. Store value-wise, obviously not, because it's not 11 grand, but as a user currency, for sure, Bitcoin Cash is definitely should be better. And we'll move on to the second page now. So one of the things that I thought was really good was that when they released this, I saw Neo, and I noticed that it was also B-. And I wouldn't say I agree with it, because I do hold Neo, and I was really happy that Neo was one of the highest rated, but like, I just wanted to know why they gave Neo B+, B-. I think honestly it should have the same score as Ethereum, but the adoption right now isn't as much. Obviously, we don't have as much ICOs being released on Neo. There's some like the Key and Next Exchange, so those are some of the big ones, but there's other functionalities that are better on Neo, such as zero transaction fees, and also that you're staking your Neo essentially by just holding it, and you're generating gas in the same wallet, as long as you're keeping it on an exchange that's not Bittrex, so, or in your own wallet, right? So I think honestly Neo is better than Ethereum in the long term, but perhaps because of adoption, that's not the case. And so another thing is Roblox, which is also a zero fee transaction coin, and they give that a C, which I don't disagree with, because I think the adoption for it is fairly low. As we see in CoinMarketCap, it went up a couple of weeks ago and it just pretty much plummeted back. So we can say this is a correction pretty much, but whether it's a dump, we don't know. So there was a video that Crypto Investor released that was saying how Roblox will be the largest pump and dump in history. And this is not the case, because the largest pump and dump history was Bitcoin Cash back when the flipping rumors were happening. I'll just go and show because it's a little bit humorous. I believe it went to almost 40 billion before it fell back down, maybe like 60%. This was a while ago in crypto time. Otherwise, it was just only a couple of weeks ago or months ago. Let's see if this will load. So yeah, exactly. This was during the flipping. Was this during the flipping? No, this was when they were releasing it on GDAX. No, this was what I'm talking about. So one day it was $10 billion. At the peak, let me see if I can get that. At the peak, it was $32 billion. $32 fucking billion. And then it crashed the next day down to 15. So this was during all those rumors that Bitcoin Cash is going to replace Bitcoin, and that Bitcoin wouldn't be able to do anything because it doesn't handle the same amount of transactions, and because of the block size, there's a lot of issues. And I don't disagree with any of that, but I still don't think this was not a pump and dump. You know what I mean? If you bought up here, you definitely were hurting, because when they sold off, you lost half your value, and that you essentially never recovered from that. Even till this day, you're still Bitcoin value wise, obviously we're not talking about the US dollar, because in this market, if you're in the market, you want to compare yourself to something that's in crypto, because if you're comparing yourself to US dollar, well, the whole market is increasing. Are you really making more? Technically yes, but you're not keeping up with the speed and the growth of the market. So most traders will compare it to Bitcoin. So if you bought up here, you really have not made your money back. So that's why I think Roblox is not the biggest pump and dump. However, an argument can be made this is somewhat of a dump. The pump was definitely real for sure. It spiked up insanely, and whether we're going to see Roblox go to zero, I highly doubt that, because I do think there is some functionality. Just like how IOTA was able to go from like 30 cents to $5, I think the same thing can happen with Roblox, and that just really has to do with adoption. Right now, Roblox is not listed on a lot of exchanges, as we can see here. It hasn't even been put on, even though it won for Binance, it hasn't been put on Binance yet. So you can see the volume is fairly low. Most of it is on Kucoin, and I do have a bit on Kucoin, but I don't do too much trading. I like to buy and hold mostly, and sometimes do a little bit of swing trade, but I don't do any like often day trades or anything like that. So yeah, until we see some exchanges actually listing Roblox, some real large exchanges like Bittrex and Binance, I don't think we're going to see this increase and recover too much. I'm just hanging on because I think long term there's still an opportunity, but in the short term I don't see Roblox doing well. If we manage to hold this price, maybe bounce back around the Satoshi level, what is that? 12K? No, sorry, 120K. So yeah, so if we hit the bottom here and we just never go below that, I think there's a good opportunity for us to increase in the long term. But honestly, if we break through and we go back to like past this point and don't make it, then I don't know. I can't really tell you what's going to happen in the future. So we'll move on to the final page. And here it is. Steam, like I said before, because of the platform and because of the users, I think a B minus is fairly fair. Stellar, I'm not sure, because it's in the same category as Ripple, and both of them are given C's, but there is a lot of community backing for both, whether you like Ripple or not. Personally, I don't think there's a point in having a centralized cryptocurrency, but honestly, it's going to help banks reduce their transaction fees, assuming they use the XRP coin. So it'll help banks in the long term, and I think banks won't be something that we're going to get rid of right away. So Ripple, I think, is still good, but whether it's as good as Stellar, that I couldn't tell you, because I've used Ripple before, and when you set up a wallet, it takes 20 Ripple for you to create your wallet. So once you want to withdraw your money, you essentially lost 20 Ripple. And back then it didn't matter because it was only a couple of cents. Not a couple, but it was around like 20 cents. So who cares? It was like $4, right? But now that it's $1.80, that adds up. That's quite a bit of change that you have that's just gone missing. So other coins like Vertcoin is also down here. Vertcoin really has been losing momentum ever since Bitcoin started rallying, so hasn't been doing too well. And then Zencash and Zcoin are also here in the low C's. So honestly, you can see that Weiss didn't put too much of a emphasis on privacy coins. You can tell that they don't really prefer any of those, which is fair. They really enjoy these platform currencies like Steam, like Neo, Cardano, and Ethereum. And as a matter of fact, I really agree with that, because I think that's where you're going to get most utility, is people developing things on top of these platforms. So in that perspective, I do agree. However, I think there is a lot of coins that they just didn't give a lot of credibility to, and we'll see going forward if these values change, and if not, that's fine too. But I think just make sure before you buy or make any decisions, just don't listen to anyone's list or chart or anything like that. Just because they are a reputable company doesn't mean they know such a new space. So they've been doing this for stocks and other things, but how would they know how to evaluate a cryptocurrency if they don't actually, if they haven't been involved in the development and understanding? So you always have to do your own research. And just because an authority like them came out with something like this doesn't mean anything is, carved into the rocks. You got to do your own due diligence. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next video. Peace out.